Am I the asshole for refusing to spend my savings to bail out my sibling from debt? My sibling recently approached me, asking for help with their financial situation. Apparently, they've racked up a ton of debt over the past few years from emergency purchases and lifestyle choices. They've been struggling to manage it, and now it's at a breaking point where creditors are contacting them non-stop. I've been careful with my money, working hard and saving for years to build up a bit of a safety net for myself. I'm not rolling in cash, but I've got enough set aside to feel secure. When my sibling asked me to help, they weren't looking for a small loan. They wanted me to clear out nearly all my savings to cover their debts. They argued that families should help each other, and implied I was selfish for not wanting to help them get out of this mess. I tried suggesting other options like talking to a financial advisor or consolidating their debt, but they brushed those off, saying they'd take too long and that I was their only real option. They even got my parents involved, who are now pressuring me, saying that family is more important than money, and that I should do this because I'm the responsible one. I feel for my sibling, and I understand they're in a tough spot. But it doesn't feel fair to me to sacrifice everything I've worked for, especially when I had nothing to do with their financial choices. Now I'm being called heartless and cold by my family, and I'm starting to wonder if I'm being selfish for holding onto my savings. Am I the asshole for refusing to use my savings to bail out my sibling? Not the asshole. It's their fault they got into this situation, and it's not your responsibility to get them out of it, especially if it will put you in a bad situation to help them. Tell them, since I was getting punished for being the responsible one. I chose not to be since family bails out others anyway. So I bought lottery and lost everything. I would appreciate if you can give me some money for next month rent. They are not listening to any other options because they want free money from you that they never have to pay back. And if you give now, it's just the beginning and you will become the enabler. Stop telling them how much money you make, spend or save. Let this be a lesson to keep your finances a secret. Tell them you spent everything and keep it away from them. And start asking them for money. Not the asshole. If you bail your sibling out, I guarantee in 6 months' time, if not sooner, they'll want another handout and be back in the same position. Tell your parents if they want to bail them out, that's on them, but it's time to stop enabling them and give them a real-world wake-up call. Otherwise they'll never learn, and why should you be their personal ATM because they feel they deserve things above their means? Not the asshole. Please do not let your family pressure you into giving away your hard-earned savings. No, they are wrong. You are not wrong. Period. Consider also that you are pouring money into a bottomless hole here until your sibling learns how to manage their finances and right the ship. They had to do that first, before any bailout, and not after. Your suggestions were the right ones: go consolidate the debt, form a repayment plan, etc. Not the asshole. You saved money, they didn't. They got into debt, you didn't. Tell everyone who wants to help to put their money in if they're so happy to spend your money. Not the asshole. You are not the only option. You're the only option with zero consequences. This couple needs to either consolidate their debt or go through bankruptcy. Let them live with the consequences of their actions. Am I the asshole for refusing to eat the food my father-in-law made and lying about why? So I, 26F, have been married to my husband Nicholas, 29M, for over a year. He was raised in the UK, his father is Greek and his mother is English. When his parents got divorced, his father moved back to Greece, and because Nico has always had a strained relationship with his father, they don't talk or see each other very much, but they tend to get together to have dinner whenever he's back in the UK. This time he was back for a month and he rented out an apartment, and so he invited around the both of us around. He didn't specify that we were going to eat anything, just said we could have a few drinks and chat. I've only met him once or twice before now, and I didn't see any reason not to do so and figured that it would be some good backup for Nico if he wanted to leave early or anything. So we went around yesterday at around 9 p.m. When we got there, father-in-law had made a traditional Greek dish called spanakopita, sort of like a pie, but it's made with phyllo pastry. It has spinach and feta. For context, I have a history of anorexia, and eating in front of people that I don't really know is still an issue for me, and anything with pastry is something that I tend to avoid even now. He was pleasant enough, welcomed us all in and offered us the food, and I said no thank you because I was anxious with the situation. Nico caught on that I was uncomfortable and so told his dad that we'd already eaten, but his dad kept insisting that we should try it. At us saying no again, he got very up in arms about how he'd gone to the effort of making the food, and that it shouldn't be such an issue for us to just have some of it, and that he felt as though we were disrespecting him by refusing to eat the food. So husband and I apologized, offered to stay for drinks, but ultimately left as he remained angry about the situation. I know I could have explained why I didn't want to eat it, but I felt uncomfortable trauma dumping on him about the real reason why, or I could have tried a little bit and then just left it and he probably would have been fine. Am I the asshole? A Greek father. I can imagine how much he wanted you to eat, because some old school parents believe food equals love. Not the asshole. But I wonder if it would be helpful to come up with a response in these situations that makes it clear it's not the host but doesn't invite further questions. I wish I could eat the food, but I have a medical issue that doesn't allow me to. It's something I don't care to discuss. I'm just throwing something out there. I'm not saying you should say these exact words. Also, I hate spanakopita, so you're not alone, my friend. Nah, I know this is a medical issue for you, but this is a cultural thing with Greeks. Food is how we show our love, so this would be considered very rude, especially without a reason. Saying you have a health probably would have been an easy way out. I would also say, as someone who has a history of anorexia and is currently an ED therapist, you should go back to therapy to work on this, because it sounds like you don't have a history, you're still really engaged with your behaviors. You are the asshole and it is disrespectful to just refuse without an explanation. First, why didn't your husband eat anything? He could have eaten something. Then, you could have said you had a stomach bug, or that you're on a restricted diet for medical reasons. Anything really along the lines of, I'd really want to but sadly I can't. I'm really full but I would love to try it. Could I take some home for later? You are the asshole. It was highly disrespectful. Lying? No, if you cannot then you tell the truth, to some degree. The reason this is a problem is the strained relationship and a father trying to do something very nice to build the relationship. It wasn't about the food at all. As an adult, you should have more emotional awareness of what was going on. Healing a parental connection was more important. Instead, you fractured it more. You left when everyone was angry, never explained the truth. This you are the asshole. You are the asshole, collectively. You didn't do anything wrong, but your husband obviously should have eaten the food. There's no way you would have not been offended. Am I the asshole for wanting our child to inherit half my estate? I have a 3-year-old, my wife has 3 grown-up kids. I want mine to inherit half my estate, the rest to the wife. She thinks that because their father has next to nothing to leave them that the inheritance should split equally between them. I'm in my 50s so want to ensure she has a decent nest egg once I'm gone. If her kid's father came into money my child wouldn't get a share. They will get half the estate between the 3 of them. Is that fair? Not the asshole. Half to your child is appropriate. Half to your wife is nice and she can leave her share to her own kids when she's gone. You're not responsible for her adult kids. Not the asshole. You should make sure to do proper estate planning and likely a trust for your child in case you pass before your child turns 18. Not the asshole. Her children are adults. Why would she feel they are entitled to your estate? Set up a trust, protect your child. Not the asshole. But tell her that you'd be willing to divide her half into fourths if she want her kids to inherit something. Not the asshole. Her kids have a father. If he has nothing, that is not your fault. Your responsibility is to your wife and your child. Not the asshole. Your responsibility is to your child. Period. Get to a lawyer and get it set up in a trust your wife won't control. Am I the asshole for refusing to apologize to my neighbor after I ignored her while out for a walk? I, 20M, like to go on walks around my neighborhood almost every day. I like to put in earbuds and listen to music while walking too. I'm an introvert so I don't like stopping to talk to my neighbors if they're also out for a walk. I'll either wave or say a quick, hello, and continue on my walk. Now I have this neighbor, let's call her Rita, up the street who is a bit of a problem. She's an older woman, possibly mid to late 70s, and she has a bit of main character syndrome. Rita is one of those old-fashioned people that feels like they're entitled to a full conversation with people while they're out walking, meaning a quick, hello, is unacceptable to her. I did not feel like stopping to talk to her, especially since I had other things to do after my walk and did not want to be out there longer than necessary. I just walked right by Rita's house with my earbuds in and pretended I didn't notice her sitting on her front porch. I got past her house and I heard the sound of someone yelling. I took one of my earbuds out while continuing to walk and I heard Rita yelling, "You hear me, young man? I'm telling your mother about this." I thought she was just being dramatic and continued on my walk. When I got home, my mom was in the kitchen and stopped me. She told me that Rita called her and complained about me. She told me she isn't mad at me because she knows Rita is entitled and mean as well. However, she thought I should go over to Rita's house and apologize to her anyways because our neighborhood is pretty small and everybody knows everybody and she doesn't want Rita to badmouth us to anyone and make us look bad. I wasn't surprised because there's nothing my mother cares about more than her image. I told my mom I wasn't going to apologize because Rita needs to learn that she is not entitled to anyone's time. Plus, most of our neighbors don't like Rita anyways so there's nothing she could say to ruin our family's reputation. My mom still thinks I should apologize to keep the peace. So am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You need to set a boundary with your neighbor that you won't be stopping to chat. Your mother should have shut her down when she called. No apologies are necessary. Also, you're an adult and don't have to worry about your parents being mad at you about something a neighbor said. Not the asshole. I have a Rita on my street. I walk my toddler to sleep on the stroller and she talks and talks and talks no matter how many times I say please I must go now. She is incensed if I leave the conversation and my toddler wakes up and screams, and then if there's no nap, spends the night crying and vomiting. All because Rita gets offended when I walk away. I now run when I see her. She talks so badly to everyone about how rude I am. I don't gossip so no one hears my side, but I don't care. My child's health is top priority and I don't care who doesn't like me. Not the asshole. You don't have to suffer bores, and that is what Rita is. Apologize? Please, Rita should be apologizing to you for her rudeness in demanding your attention. You should tell Rita, if ever you want to pause at her place, that she is the type of person only a mother could love, so go talk to your mother if you want to chat with someone. Harsh? Yes, but sometimes you have to be with some people. Yeah, I'm too petty. I'd be figuring out additional ways to wind Rita up. You know, while still ignoring her presence, just stand on the street in front of her house and when she finally comes out to get her apology, turn and walk away. Keep some appropriately scandalous conversational topics handy and start a game to see how quickly you can get her to shut down the conversation. Hey, a coworker has a raging case of chlamydia. You've obviously been around the block a few times. How did you deal with it? Bonus points if you get the neighbors involved in calling out her rudeness for refusing to talk to you. Oh, not the asshole. Unless you apologize. Wait, hang on a second, am I missing something? Your mother admits that she knows this woman is a complete nightmare who nobody seems to like, but you should apologize to her for not wanting to interact with her. You're not the asshole, but, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, your mother does understand you're a grown adult and don't need to talk with anyone you don't want to, right? Nah, you did nothing wrong, man. Not the asshole. Keeping the peace is exactly how people like this have power. They expect you to capitulate to their demands in order to keep the peace, when in fact, they're the ones disturbing the peace in the first place. Tell your mother no, you won't, and that's that.